The empty apartment across from me wasn't empty. I moved into my apartment building last winter, and it's old, narrow, and quiet in a way that feels intentional, like the walls are holding their breath. There are only 4 units on my floor, 3 occupied and one, Unit 4B, empty for as long as I've lived there. Or at least that's what the landlord told me. The first note appeared about a month after I moved in, taped to my door at eye level on lined notebook paper, and it read, "You're too loud at night." I was confused because I live alone, work early mornings, and am usually asleep by 10, so I assumed it was meant for someone else and threw it away. 2 nights later, another note appeared saying, "Please stop walking around after midnight," which bothered me because I hadn't been walking around. But I told myself sound probably carried oddly in an old building. A week later, a third note showed up that read, "I hear you when you stand by my door." And that was the first time I felt real fear because I had never stood by anyone's door, especially not the empty unit across the hall. I asked my landlord about 4B the next day, and he again told me it had been vacant for over a year due to maintenance issues, though he avoided explaining further. That night around 12:30 a.m., I heard slow footsteps outside my door that stopped directly in front of it, and whoever was there didn't knock or move for what felt like 10 minutes before the footsteps finally went toward 4B. The next morning, another note was waiting for me that said, "You don't have to pretend to sleep." I bought a cheap security camera and aimed it at my door, and after a few quiet nights, it finally picked up motion at 12:47 a.m. When I watched the footage, the hallway light flicked on, and a person stepped into view through the peephole, and it was me, same height, same build, even wearing the same hoodie I wear at home, but the timestamp said I was asleep in bed at the same time according to my phone's health app. The figure didn't knock and just stood there with its head tilted like it was listening, then leaned forward and pressed its forehead against my door, and I stopped watching after that. I showed the footage to my landlord, whose face went pale as he told me I needed to move out immediately and offered to break my lease without penalty. And before leaving, I made the mistake of trying the door to Unit 4B, which was unlocked. Inside, the apartment was completely empty, but the floor was covered in footprints leading straight to my door, and inside the closet, written over and over in different handwriting, were the words, "He never realizes he's the one walking." I moved out that day, but last week I found a note stuck to my new apartment door in the same handwriting that said, "You're loud here too, and now I don't walk around at night anymore, but something still does."